Let's move into our Mint Mobile hotline question of the day. If you guys have a question you'd like us to address and you'd like to hear your voice on our show, simply call our hotline number anytime 24/7 at 951-268-4259. Call on in, leave your message there, and maybe you'll hear it on our show. So we've got a question here asking about the place of Guardians of the Galaxy in the MCU.
Hey everyone, this is Marcus from Rochester. I just got done watching the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special last weekend, and I'm wondering, what phase does this belong to? It was my understanding that Wakanda Forever would end phase 4 and Ant-Man would start phase 5, so what gives with this? Love to hear your thoughts. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot for calling that in. And look, I have not known. I talked about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, I think on Friday I talked about it, but for those of you who missed Friday's show, I was not excited for this. I have basically been ignoring it for the last 6 months. Whenever we talk about upcoming Marvel stuff, I've never mentioned the holiday special. I mean, the trailer I thought was really clever and cute, and I bought into the whole way that they're going for the whole Hallmark Christmas movie kind of feel with Guardians of the Galaxy, and I thought that was lovely. I did. I thought the trailer was lovely. But I still wasn't excited for this. Excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but this is the thing. I didn't even like She-Hulk, but I would stay up to midnight to watch a new episode of She-Hulk. I did not stay up to watch this when it dropped Thursday night at midnight. Like, I mean, even Ann was like, hey, isn't the holiday special on Sunday? I said, I'll watch it in the morning. Whatever. It's going to be a throwaway little thing. No one's going to care. Fuck me. It supplanted Rudolph and Frosty as my favorite Christmas special. It did everything a great Christmas special should be. And I laughed and I got emotional at the end. I wasn't sobbing like a baby, but I could feel tears in my eyes at the end. It is a beautiful, fantastic, wonderful Christmas special that I'm going to watch every year now for the rest of my life. I absolutely loved it. But you do raise a great question. What phase does this belong to? But even more importantly, where in the MCU does this holiday special belong? Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months free. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order and activate from home with eSIM while saving tons on phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Guys, you know I've been using Mint Mobile long before this holiday deal, and I have to say, it is the perfect time to switch. Since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've been spending 1/3 of what I used to spend on my mobile service with the other big name company. And with this buy 3 months, get 3 months free, not only is it a great choice for you, but it makes great gifts for the people you love. Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is here. By going online only and with eSIM and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes those significant savings on to you. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily and effortlessly with eSIM. Or if you need a new device, for a limited time, get 6 months of free service when you buy a selected device and plan. So guys, for a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. As far as phases, Rob, you were pointing out something that you read about Kevin Feige specifying where it ends up as far as phases go.
He said, well, Kevin Feige said it was an epilogue to phase 4. But you know, this year in the MCU, I believe, is 2024. I think. This takes place at the same time that Hawkeye does. It takes place that same
at
Christmas
time, yeah.
Because we know that from the time of the blip. So this would have the blip. Starting out with WandaVision. WandaVision took place 3 weeks after the blip. And everything we've seen now has taken place in that year. So I believe that this would take place at the same time as Hawkeye does.
Yeah, because I think we talked about this a while ago after Endgame, is that once they did the 5-year jump, we figured they would actually slow down time in the MCU until we actually caught back up to it, and then MCU would be in real time with us again. It feels like that's what they're doing.
It also takes place at the same time as the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. So it's interesting that we've got that's the culmination of where we're at in the MCU, I believe.
But I didn't get a chance because I did the show solo on Friday. What did you think about the holiday special?
Dude, I loved it. I mean, at first, I watched your reaction video because I was curious what you thought. And I felt like you when I first started watching. I'm like,
the first couple of minutes.
It opened with that animated sequence, and I'm like,
I thought the animated sequence was interesting.
It was interesting, and watching it, and it was. I'm watching this, and I'm like, but it was so interesting because it crept up on me, because I had certain expectations, and then as you're watching, then it just started. For me, I'm like, I'm totally in when they're in Hollywood in the, let's call it the alternative lifestyle bar that they didn't. I'm sure I would love to know how James Gunn got away with that, because I'm like, without saying anything, it was just like, here's a bar in Hollywood, and it was real. I was laughing. They have the speeded up shot where they're just doing shots, and I was laughing. And then, like you said, the guy when Drax goes, "Hey, why don't you come out and dance with us?" Drax is like dancing. What does he say?
When the one of the best lines I think ever in the MCU, when Drax says to him, guy comes up to Drax like, "Come dance with us," and Drax says, like, there's loud music playing, so Drax speaking very loud, "Dancing is for people who are pathetic." And I'm like, I just about died.
My new favorite thing is Mantis and Drax. Like, if they needed to do, like, I want to see a road picture with the Collector and the Grandmaster and Howard the Duck. Now I've changed. I want them to make a Drax Mantis movie where they go on some feature-length adventure. Now, because they were awesome together.
They were great. And it was wonderful seeing, because Mantis has played less than a side note, really, in the MCU up until this, because she's really the star. It's her and Drax, but she's kind of really the star. And I loved her in this. Palm Clementif, is that?
Yeah.
She was wonderful in this. But it does raise a great question about, okay, this is a Hallmark Christmas kind of tone. Where does it actually fit? Forget phases. Where does it actually fit in the MCU? Because I'm sorry, Drax's cousin was killed by a GoBot?
Well, that was the greatest thing ever.
Saying GoBots are actually canon in the MCU? And I don't think they are.
According to James Gunn's Twitter.
I know.
There's all these think pieces on it.
I think you got to take anything the head of DC's film says about Marvel at this point. But I mean, where does it fit? Because there are two very key important things for the MCU that happens in this special. Take away the beauty of it and the charm of it and the emotion of it. There's two very key factoids that come out of this special. Number one is that the Guardians of the Galaxy now own nowhere. So that's one. Two, that Mantis is actually, and this made sense, is actually Peter's half-sister. So I think so where does it fit in? I think it's going to be one of those asterisk projects. Like when you're looking at timeline and structure of the MCU and the canon of the MCU, I think the holiday special comes in there and there's going to be a couple of asterisks on it saying there are some things that are relevant to the MCU and some things that maybe are not. Like, so I don't know, because does Kevin Bacon being in this exclude him from being able to play a character in the MCU now? Maybe not. They could say, well, that one, I mean, I don't know. Chris, you saw it. First of all, what did you think about the holiday special?
Freaking loved it.
And where do you see it fitting into the MCU?
Loved everything about it. I know from a Radio Times article, too, for the Guardians, this is after they've parted ways with Thor,
right,
prior to Volume 3. I love everything about this. I'm glad that we dealt with some greater MCU issues, right? Like, we know that they own nowhere now. We know that Mantis is his sister, which was one of those things, too, of, are we ever going to say that? We had that little glimpse of someone going, oh, that's probably Mantis's mom, and that means, oh, my God. And in the comics, that's canon. So that's really nice to have that happen. And this also allowed us to introduce characters as well as some concepts, like the nowhere thing, without us having to bog down Volume 3. So I think this was super smart to do.
Can we talk about Cosmo?
Oh, my gosh, Cosmo.
Oh, my God. Because, okay, look, true story. When everybody remember, we talked about this a long time ago, back in the AMC days, when we had Kevin Feige, James Gunn, and Chris Pratt come into the studio to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the very first things I asked them was, because just remember, this is before Guardians came out. I said, guys, my favorite character in Guardians of the Galaxy is Cosmo. Are you going to have Cosmo? And just Kevin Feige was like, we can't really say anything right now. Of course, Cosmo made a brief little appearance in there, but to actually have Cosmo is so great.
The Cosmo voice is perfect.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Especially in the post-credit when they put the Russian accent on it.
Oh,
I
she's
love that. And
perfect.
Groot looked amazing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Chris, we interrupted you.
oh,
Where
no
were you
worries,
at?
no worries. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to continue having like Rocket own Bucky's arm, but you know, those are some things within the greater MCU that I'm like, I think some things were maybe one-off gags. I would love if it's not. I would love if every now and then Rocket just pulls out Bucky's arm and it's like, and plays around with it. But I do have questions about how Nebula got it. I think there's a few things that are red herrings in it and a few things that are going to be canon. And it's those bigger concepts like Nowhere, like Mantis, that sort of thing.
Oh, I think we're going to see there's a reason why Bucky's arm was in this.
Yeah.
I absolutely, I don't know what that is, but I think it's going to be an
You
ongoing
think it's going to be
thread.
referenced at some point that Bucky's arm is,
Oh, yes.
is missing?
You guys were talking about getting emotional in this too. And I got weirdly, I laughed and then was like, this is such a thoughtful gift, and got weirdly emotional about Nebula and Rocket's connection now. I was like, this is the nicest thing she could do for him.
What about the dioramas that like Groot gave everybody?
That was awesome.
That's where Anne started crying.
that he
Anne was
made in
like,
real time.
Oh my God.
And I love Sean Gunn's diorama, which was
It's
duplicating,
Oh, and-
his whole.
I had the biggest smile on my face because it was such a 1980s Christmas cartoon thing when Yondu's in there. Ah, I hate Christmas. I'm like, this is so beautiful.
So good.
And
And
the
how,
ending, how about
how
the girl-
oh man,
when they
was
go
that
back, when after Peter says, I don't think that he knows how that story ended, and they go back, and Yondu opens up the thing, and it's his little. I'm getting emotional now just talking about
Oh,
it. It's
so
the little,
good.
little figure.
Also, Swole Groot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Swole Groot was
Groot's great.
great. I love, and then the little fourth wall breaking when you had Rocket go, oh well, now we got to do another special.
Right. I mean, yeah, it was just delightful. And
This is charming,
45
right?
minutes. It was
45
only
minutes.
45 minutes.
And you know, we talked about this with Werewolf by Night, but with this one too now, please do more of these one-off specials. They are
I'm
so
loving
good.
them.
I
I'm
think it's
loving
the
them.
way to give us quality and quantity without sacrificing anything, really. You can introduce so many characters this way. It's great.
Plus, I gotta say, when they did the final illumination of the Christmas lights in
Oh,
Nowhere,
it's gorgeous.
I'm like, that was a set. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe someone's gonna say, no, Rob, it looked like it was a live action set, and I felt a sense of kind of wonder, like
Yeah.
that Christmas wonder.
But to go on what Chris was just saying too, Phase 4, I mean, it's well established. Phase 4 was hit and miss, right?
Yeah.
The least quality of all the phases, and it had some great highs, but it also had some lows, very hit and miss. The most consistently good thing I think they've done that you can say has been these specials. They did 2 of them. They both knocked them out of the park. And now I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they do moving forward. Guys, the question is for you. What did you think, number one, of the holiday special? I mean, maybe you think we're over gushing, but I'm not kidding. I think it's my favorite Christmas special of all time. Did you like it, hate it, didn't care? Maybe you didn't watch it. Where do you think it fits in the MCU as a whole? How seriously should we take it as canon? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts.